In order to avoid some adverse impacts, I require proper setbacks inconsistent with the front yard setback area in the Block 1 Cheeseboro Lane. So we take a look at those lots, we don't see parking lot in the residential street. So I imposed some mitigation to there might be result from this implementation extension of a parking lot. So to answer your question, my determination is really depending on the public testimony who really concerned about the need of parking for the site, which they experience illegal parking and overflow parking along Cheeseboro Lane. And also part of extension, they obviously increased the floor area. For the building facade, they added office space and retail space, and also they added some space in the restaurant on the third floor. Although they said they have give and take, obviously they had more intensive use than what it is now. That's why I thought to just make it more uniform development in parking lot C, and also to address some public testimony they're concerned about the overflow parking in that area. It is my consideration, and also to avoid some impacts, I required some mitigation measures to avoid some impacts from extension of the parking area in residential lots.
And then why was not the demolition of the 4 dwelling units identified within the project description in the M&D and not checked as a potential adverse impact?
The mitigation measure was prepared by our environmental staff section. Usually that's less than, we have a certain threshold. Frankly, I don't know what the threshold exactly is, but I'm sure those 4 dwelling units are below the threshold. So I'm just guessing they just thought it's automatic drop from the threshold.
Commissioner Lowe speaking, and I guess they totally forgot and omitted to realize that Gold Line is under construction, and the demolition that took place of homes, of residences, as well as small businesses along First Street within the Boyle Heights community. I'm having great difficulty if our community plan and our zone changes that we with a down zoning from from R3 to RD 1.5 that took place in, I believe, in the 1990s at the site on the Cheeseboro track. There's been a constant, seems to be a repetitive encroachment within the residential, a low-density residential zone area, a built-out older community with old housing stock in a low-income working-class community where housing is greatly needed. I don't see how that impact cannot be addressed or analyzed within the MND at all. It's not in there, there's no mitigation, it's not even analyzed, so there are no proposed mitigations as to relocation, assistance, or replacement housing. I think there's a cumulative impact. It's clearly a socioeconomic impact with physical, which results from a physical condition, which is the demolition of 4 units. I have great difficulty with allowing residentially zoned property within an overbuilt, low-income community where that has been downsized to preserve a low-density neighborhood. And then on top of that, Boyle Heights is the pilot project right now for Survey LA, for historic preservation, a survey that's taking place, all which is under the purview of the planning department. So I do have problems with that because of the age of these structures. Granted, they're not in their best conditions. They definitely don't look like they did in their heyday, but they are part of the history of Boyle Heights. And that's another issue that's not addressed. So I haven't heard a reasonable explanation that's been offered. I heard testimony from, and I agree, there's parking impacts, we are concerned with that. However, If I'm balancing parking, preferential parking district, that's an enforcement issue, over the loss of housing stock and further encroachment into residential zone, that I don't see the balance. I heard what you're saying. That's an issue.
I have to agree with Commissioner Lowe. I'm having difficulty with that issue too. And I think that the design of El Mercado that the applicant gave us is beautiful. I think it would look amazing. It would be such an asset to the neighborhood. Yet the parking situation, the encroachment into the neighborhood is really a problem for me.